Hi, everybody, and welcome to my comfy little couch in my house in the woods. When Rachel called a few of us to put together an impromptu convention, of course, I'm sure we all said yes right away. So I want to take this time to thank Rachel for her efforts to get us all pulled together, to keep us connected, to give us a chance to enjoy our love of dolls and teddy bears. Because right now I know we're all in our houses and there are no shows. So it's a nice time to reach out and get to see everybody and see some wonderful, fantastic antique dolls and toys and teddy bears. And so I'm really excited to be a part of it. So, Rachel, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you do for us, because this is such a huge undertaking and you do it with such grace and a smile, and we love you. So, I wondered what I could do for a last minute convention, and I didn't want to tell Rachel, but I've got termite people coming in at some point, so I boxed up a ton of stuff. So, I went through and I thought, what am I going to do during this shelter in place, so to speak? And I found myself reading a lot of teddy bear books and identification guides and going through my old paper things. And I get so many people to say to me, how do you know what is what? And how do you identify different bears? And first of all, I've seen thousands of bears over my lifetime, and so I've been very fortunate to handle and touch. But there's also been some really, really good reference guides that have come out over the years. And I have pored over those day after day, night after night, picking out little details. So it's a really great chance. I want to share some of those with you that maybe you can go and find on Amazon or eBay or your local library or Barnes & Noble, to be able to look through and also identify. There's some really great ones, so I'm going to share those with you today. On top of that, I've got some great old catalog pages, and so that's an extraordinary way if you go through old Sears catalogs, Ward's catalogs, and different old toy company catalogs. It's a great way to see what year they were manufactured, get to compare it to the piece you have at home, because so many of these teddies were not identified. They had no marks, they had no tags, they were made in thousands, and they were not able to be identified. They were just sold to different stores. So it's hard to figure out who might have made them, and many, many, many we will never be able to. But it's fun for the hunt to go through and see if you can pick out your teddy bear in a catalog page, or notice the distinguishing features that help give it its birth name. On top of that, I also collect, well, I collect too much, that's the problem. I collect antique teddy bear photos with children. As you can see in the background, I blew up a couple for my program and I have them in my house. So I wanted to share some of those with you, because a lot of times teddy bears in those pictures kind of give us a year, especially if they're dated. Or it's always exciting when you get a bear and the owner's original photo is with it. It's called provenance, and it really ups the value of your teddy, but it also gives you a peek into their past when they were new and the children had just found them in the toy shop window and were so excited on Christmas morn when they got to open the package and there was Teddy. So that is also another part of this program I wanted to touch on. And then another small thing is sheet music. I love sheet music, so I just wanted to share a few of my sheet musics with you, because I have a piano, and as time goes on, I'm sure I'm going to destroy everybody's eardrums by playing teddy bear music. So I hope you enjoy this, and I'm sorry if it's a little disjointed or if I jump here, jump there, back up. Please bear with me. And I don't have my sidekick, Rachel, who just keeps me on track and gets us going. So I miss you, Rachel. I love you, and thank you again for bringing us all together like only you can do. And I hope you enjoy this. So I think what I'm first going to do is I'm going to show you some old teddy bear books. Another passion of mine is books that were done around the turn of the century. Teddies were all the rage, and people couldn't get enough of them. So a lot of books were published with teddy bear as their subject or their lead character or the adventures of the children and the teddy bears. So if I insert a few other things, it's just because I found them and I wanted to share them with you because it's so exciting when I get to share them with everybody, some things I have in my house. So please enjoy. The first thing I'm going to share with you, and mind you, you can't see this, but it's all piled around me, is an old Judge magazine. Now I know this is going to look backwards on your screen. Hopefully you can read backwards. They say that's a great sign of intelligence, so I don't know, but anyway. And I found this one because I was looking for Johnny and the Teddy Bears, which was in the original Judge, and I opened it up and look at this. Hope you can see it. It's Teddy Roosevelt holding the teddy bears. It's extremely rare, and I have yet to get it framed, but I just love it. And this is in the Judge magazine, January 26, 1907. So if you ever go to antique stores or go online and they're selling Judge magazines, be sure and ask them if there's any teddy bear pictures or pages in them, because they're a wonderful, wonderful surprise when you get something like this. Next up, I had a teddy bear magazine called Teddy Today with my co-publisher Dennis Shaw, and we did an article on the three bears. So we had to buy everything three bears we could get our hands on. So I just thought I'd show you this wonderful, it's called the Three Bears, and it's a primer story cards. And you could hold them up and they taught you how to read and identify things. And if you ever want a fun ride, it's to go through the progression of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It started out where Goldilocks was actually an old woman that kind of was thrown out a top story window, and she went through several name changes over the years, from silver hair to silver locks to golden hair to Goldilocks. It's a great collectible. And once you get started, I warn you, because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Goldilocks books, and if you want to collect every one, welcome to my world. It is a never-ending project. Another wonderful teddy bear. These were like little cards that were done at Christmas time. I have them also for Valentine's, and they are just wonderful. They're really super. I believe that Shackman and a couple other companies may have reproduced them, but they're such a super little booklet to have in your paper collection. Also, they did it in Valentine's, if you can see, where he's eating his hearts. It's a fun thing. I love this next book. This book has got the figural antique bear, but what's interesting, the bear on the outside looks old, but on the inside, it's almost like a comic character. See this? Very comically drawn. This was probably done in the 1930s, and I think it was published in Scandinavia. I'm not positive. I don't recognize the language on the inside. Another great rare piece. You're all familiar with the Wizard of Oz books. Well, Denslow was the original illustrator for the Wizard of Oz books, and what many people don't realize is he also illustrated this book called Teddy Bear's Christmas. It's illustrated by W.W. Denslow, and it's a story of the bears and the toys on the inside on Christmas. And it was done as an advertising piece for the store at Christmas time. You could get it, some lucky kid got that as a free prize when they went to a department store. And we all know the Roosevelt Bears. The Roosevelt Bears came out with several different books, and they came out in 2 series, but they also had tons and tons and tons of ephemera. And it's great fun to be able to collect all the different pieces of the Roosevelt Bear ephemera. So there's dishes, and there's purses, and there's candy containers, and pottery, and so it's just a great collectible. Again, there's hundreds and hundreds of pieces, and I'm just going to open this up so you can see one of the color plates. It's really great. A lot of times you'll find these color plates and they'll be have been torn out of the books. I can only hope that the books they tore them out of were in bad shape, because then at least you can have the beautiful prints to hang on the wall. And who can forget Rupert? Look at Rupert. I have a lot of these books in my collection. Look at all these fantastic. It's a great stories, and it's the adventures of Rupert the Bear from England, of course. And it's just a really happy, happy adventure when you get to go along with Rupert. This is Brownie Bunny and Teddy Bear. And this is a great little story. It was published by Whitman Publishing Company in 1916. And it tells of little brown teddy bear with Brownie Bunny. And it's got great illustrations, and the story is so exciting. And it's a really nice size. It's a smaller size, probably around 6 by 8. And it's a great size to display behind dolls or toys in your cabinet. Here's another Three Bears book. I warn you again, there's hundreds of them out there. So a lot of them have such wonderful, wonderful illustrations. And they're just great to look through. I think this one is, she's called Golden Hair, actually. Next, this is in German. So it says, Was drei kleine Bären im Walde erlebten. The three little bears that live in the woods. And the illustrations are just, he's missing some binding here, but I just wanted to show you the wonderful illustrations in this book. I hope you can see it. They're just really super, super. And though you can't read the German, it's nice to look through and see all the illustrations. Look at this. This illustrator also did postcards around, I'd say around 1910 to 1920. This teddy bear book was written by Ada Louise Sutton, and it's The Adventures of the Teddy Bears. And this was advertised in Playthings magazine and a lot of different places is at around 1907. And I love the illustrations. I hope you can see that. There's lots of color illustrations in here of the different teddy bears. What I like to do with a lot of these books is I like to photocopy them, or I'll have them made into cards to send to people. And this book here, I'm sure a lot of people have seen. It's a little paperback book, and it was done in the 1920s, and it's Teddy's, and it's The Adventures of Teddy, their little girl, and it's paper, and it came with different colors, and I'll show you a couple of the illustrations, but it's just so sweet and so magical. I have this open in one of my cases with little all-bisque dolls in front to display it. Another favorite of mine is this book. There's only, the first part of the book is called The Teddy Bear Story, and it's only the first part of the book that has the ABCs of the teddy bears. See if you can see it there. See? And it's got G is for good bear on Sunday and a pretty good bear on Monday. And it goes through the whole alphabet. The rest of the book is different stories. Mary Had a Little Lamb, etc. And the only color in it is the teddy bear alphabet in the front. And this is just a really fun, fun book. And it's one of my favorites. The cover is especially intriguing. And then, probably, my favorite. And I did an article for the 200 Years of Childhood book this last November on Johnny and the Teddy Bears. Because I believe I'm Johnny, and believe me, I have the teddy bears. So these are very special to me, and ever since I was little, I fell in love with these and had to get all the books. In fact, it was Judge Magazine that the original cartoon was published in each issue. So that's another reason to look for Judge Magazines, because they have the John and Teddy Bear series in it. What many people don't realize is that along with these books, over the years, were published silver pieces were manufactured with Johnny and the Teddy Bears around the side, embossed. These are some great treasures from my collection. I absolutely love them, and I have hardly seen any. I've taken years and years and years to get the pieces I have. And here's the porringer. See, and they're very deeply, deeply detailed. So I treasure those. And it's a great way to look for the silver pieces and all the different books. There were several companies that copied them. This is a different company that copied the teddy bears. So it's fun to look for all of them and read their adventures. They get in so much trouble, but they always kind of come out in the end, which I always like. This is another favorite book of mine. It's a figural book, and it's called My Life Story, Ted Bear. And look, he's howling. And when it opens, which is so exciting, here if I can open it without taking up too much of our time, it's got great illustrations. The story is really fun. You know? And it's falling apart, unfortunately. I have a good copy in my collection. A lot of these, I didn't realize how many duplicates I have. I kind of just saw them, and I kept buying them, and, you know, it would have been too easy to check if I'd already had it. This is another one that is a great book. It's called The Lazy Teddy Bear. It was also published in German, called Der faule Teddybär, which means the lazy teddy bear in German. This is the English version, and it's just got, again, wonderful, wonderful illustrations. Look at this. Isn't that fun? Where he's splashing in the water. He looks like a very old stiff teddy bear, and it's a great story. And the Brown's Book of Bears. I like this book, and I didn't realize I probably have like 4 copies of it in various states of condition. A lot of times I'll buy ones that I think are in better condition and upgrade. But it has beautiful black and white illustrations of these real type bears doing teddy bear type things, and it's a fun book. Another great book that is one of my absolute favorites. I have a lot of favorites. Mother Goose's Teddy Bears. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen there's postcards with these teddy bears on them, and it's wonderful because a lot of these illustrations are done with Etna. I believe they were Etna and probably BMC teddy bears. The looks are very distinctive, and the story is great, and look at this. Here we go. Look at that. Isn't that super? Oh. So those are some of the teddy bear books that I wanted you to see, the antique teddy bear books. And now I'm going to show you some wonderful old catalog pages that I've accumulated over the years, and it helps us to identify teddy bears, and it's neat to see them in their original form. The first thing I wanted to share with you, which I found in a wonderful old McClure's magazine, look at this. It's teddy bears, and they're advertising phonograph. Isn't that fun? Old white stiffs. I think that's very cute. Another great one here, and if Hillary Polly, if you're watching, sorry, I had to put my glasses down. This is, Hillary Polly has this bear in her collection. They were Elmer Manufacturing Company. They looked very similar to Ideal Bears or the Havana Toy Company, but they had a red felt tongue. And they had a wider head and shorter limbs. So this is the original ad for the Elmer Teddy Bear Manufacturing Company. In the early days of identifying in books, people thought they were Ideal, but they're actually Elmer Manufacturing Company. So that shows you when you go through the old catalog pages, you really find new identities for some of these bears. This is a fun thing that I thought you might enjoy. It's an old factory scene, and look at all those teddy bears they're making. This I got off the internet, and they said the original picture, it was from the Lower East Side of New York. So look at, there were so many sweatshops set up in New York during the turn of the century when teddy bears were so popular that they were producing them by the thousands, and they were not, absolutely were not marked. They were just sold. Very few teddy bear companies marked their teddy bears. Here's another wonderful old Butler Brothers catalog page. I don't know if you can see it or if the light's gonna, it's got wonderful teddy bears. It's from 1928. I think what's fun about these is, you know, we see a lot of these lambs on wheels and horses on wheels, you know, on the wood platforms, and we all think they're from Victorian era. They were produced up until the 1930s in these catalogs. So a lot of them are later than we actually think. This is a wonderful 3 different catalog pages, and I'm going to show you why. This teddy bear here, we call him the football bear because their bodies are like footballs. They have twill noses. They are very, very similar. You see a lot of these with the big, big barrel bodies and arms and legs. And in the early days, everybody thought they were Ideal. Well, let me show you something. They are almost impossible to pin down to their exact manufacturer because as of now, if somebody has a hot selling item, 20 different manufacturers will copy and sell the same type thing. So here's the same type bear, and it was manufactured by Schoen's Toy Company. See the bear? Football type body, arms and legs, very similar to this bear. And then that's Schoen's. Here we have, this is Atlantic Toy Company, almost the exact same bear, football style body. That was in 1920. These were all the same year. And a third manufacturer in 1920, the original Toy and Novelty Company. Same, almost exact same type bear, same pattern. It was all 3 different companies, same type bear, manufactured in 1920. So that shows you there's no real way to say this is so-and-so because, you know, it's very difficult to find out which one they didn't manufacture, or they didn't mark them. This I love, and I'm sure somebody here watching will have several of these. This was the French Fancy Toy and Novelty Company. They did the bear with the wooden eyes that roll. They also did something called the Duplex Whistler. This was their original catalog page in Playthings magazine, Besser's Best Teddy Bears. And it shows him, this is the guy who sold them in New York. And then on the back, it has one of the original ads for French Fancy Toy and Novelty Company for the Duplex Whistler. And they also did the guy, I'm sure you've seen him, with the wooden eyes in the metal rims that sleep. They also did one with radio eyes, which, you know, I haven't seen one because maybe they were pulled from the market. They sounded kind of scary. Here's another wonderful catalog. It's a reproduction of Bing items, Bing bears, and toys. And it's so nice to go through here and see all the things that were manufactured by Bing. And this is from, I believe, let me look here, 1912? I think it's 1912. And so it's a great identification guide to show you what they manufactured. Here's another wonderful I photocopied out of a book with teddy bear. This is from about 1907. And it shows the teddy bear here, and that was probably imported. They had one here, and then look at all the different wonderful, wonderful toys you could buy. Makes you want to go back in time and just start ordering. And this is a great 1920s catalog from Dean's Rag Book. And I just love this. It's got a lot of their cloth dolls, and it has their tongue-tied knockabout toy bears and things that were printed cloth. This is one of my favorite things. It's a great old Dean's catalog. And one of my favorite things, and it still has John in pencil, this is F.A.O. Schwartz catalog. I love F.A.O. Schwartz catalogs. And I love them for identification. They each had their Stife insert. But one thing that I really think is fun, I used to go when we were little, we were allowed to circle what we wanted for Christmas. And I circled things, and I got a couple things. So they're great for identification. If you have toys, you're not sure the year they were manufactured. This is a great way to flip through here, and if they were offered in F.A.O. Schwartz, it kind of gives you a year that they might be manufactured in that time. Another thing I have stacks of, and it's kind of silly, but old Ward's catalogs, old Sears catalogs, and I'll show you why. In the toy section, teddy bears. This is 1930-31 with the wonderful clown bear. In this side, hang on. Just here it shows you the clown bear ad here. 1930-31. I just love to go through, and if you look, there's a horse on wheels that is on metal wheels, and this is 1930-31, so they were manufactured quite late over a period of time. This is great, and this gives you an idea from the F.A.O. Schwartz catalogs how to identify years of things. See the bear there? It's a muesli bear with the music box that you wind it and the head goes back and forth. So here's the exact same bear. Here we go. and he's in that catalog from 1964. So that gives you kind of an idea. And it plays Teddy Bear's Picnic, and when you wind it, the head goes back and forth. They were made by Mutzli, and then the music box was made by Rouge, Switzerland. I shouldn't have done this because now we're going to hear Teddy Bear's Picnic throughout my entire talk. So that gives you a few of the old catalog pages that you can find, and it's a great way to search, whether you do it on the internet or go to antique stores or shows, because yes, we will have shows again, don't worry, I'm going through withdrawals too. So next I want to show you some old teddy bear photos that I picked out a few because time, we have time crunch here. So here I'll just hold them up so you can see them. This is a little girl with her wonderful antique stife. She's not very happy. I know she had to stand there for a long time to get the picture, but she could at least crack a smile. Look at, she's holding a gorgeous stife. And here's these two beautiful girls. Oh, the light's going to reflect with their antique stife. And then this is one of those photo postcards, and she's got this incredible stife jointed elephant. Jealous, I'm so jealous. And then look at this guy. He doesn't have one. The greedy little guy has two wonderful bears, probably a white stife and a white cinnamon, and this is dated 1907 on the back. And this girl, she's got a great ideal bear. Notice the triangular shaped head. Isn't that wonderful? Beautiful old ideal. Probably around, it's dated 1909 on the back of the photo. And then this guy with his big old stife. Look at that. Almost as big as that baby. It does make me wonder, I always think, what happened to these bears? I'd like to think they ended up at my house, but they didn't. Here's another one. Here's one of those old American football-shaped type teddy bears. She looks like she's in a dress probably from the teens with a big ribbon in her hair. I love the outfits on some of these kids too. They're really sweet. And this is a very different bear. I wonder if you can see it close up there. It's a very, oh, the light's going to reflect. I could take it out. It's a very strange bear. I think it might actually be like a Jopi or something with the way the head looks. And then this one I love. And I'm going to take this out of the plastic so we don't get that reflection. Look at this. Look at that. She's got her poodle down there, and they've got their bears and their stife bear and their cloth Art Fabric Mills doll. Look at those girls. They are so excited. As well they should be. It's an original photo. And then here's this girl giving her teddies a bath. I hope that teddy survived. And then here they've got their teddy bears with them outside. Dated 1912. And then this, I love this one. This is Christmas time. And look at those bears and the Show and Hat Circus. Those are stife cinnamon bears. Isn't that wonderful? It's a family from San Francisco, dated 1909. Yeah, 1909? Yeah. It's dated on the front. 1909, yeah. Wow. Look at this Shuko. It's a tumbler. Really unusual. I hadn't found a picture with a tumbler before. And then this. I think we all want to find this teddy bear. Look at that guy. He's gigantic. Isn't he wonderful? What a great face. This was a gift from a very special friend of mine, and I treasure it. And then here's a couple. Look at this cinnamon bear. Look at him with his cinnamon teddy. Wonder if he realizes what he has. And I hope he kept it throughout his entire life. I could go through all of these, but we'd be here all day. And I've still got my price guides I want to show you. Here's another little girl with her great teddy bear. A lot of these bears, if they had these done at photo studios, were actually owned by the photo studios. They would have toys in the photo studios, and then they would have the children interact with the toys. This, I think, is very, very special. I'm sure she was a famous actress in Paris. I hope you can see this. She is surrounded by antique stuff, dolls, toys, and on the back, it's an actual photo. It says, photograph Talbot, Paris, Rue Royale. I hope you can see that. It's going to be backwards, so I don't know if that's, but isn't that fantastic in her apartment? Stuffed dolls and bears and toys and oh, magical. This I love. This is a fun photo postcard. And this guy's all dressed up and he's shooting a teddy bear out of the tree. I hope he missed. I really fear for that bear. The other thing that is so exciting when you can see a large one. This is a tinted photograph with an ideal teddy bear, the triangular shaped head. It's dated on the back of it, 1909. And then these are always fun. I really love these. It's multiple images of the children and their toys. I've got a couple of these. And this shows her with her teddy bear, different shots, and then they group them all together, and then they have a mirage of her looks. This is a fantastic piece. This guy probably looks like he could be ideal. Look at this. Holding her beautiful white teddy bear. Oh, how angelic. So those are a few of the antique things I wanted to show you today. It's exciting to be able to share with you, and I'm glad we have this time together. So I'm going to follow up here now with books that I feel everybody should have in their collection. These are great reference guides, and there are a few of my favorites. I picked out maybe a dozen of my favorites because there's a lot of them on the market, but these are a few of my favorites that I've pawed through 2,000 times each. So the first one I'm going to show you, and again, the writing's going to be backwards, so hopefully you can write it down, and if you miss any, you can either messenger me on Facebook, get a hold of Rachel. I'm going to try and get a list that she can put up online. This is called The Collector's History of the Teddy Bear. It was written by Pat Schoonmaker, and she also did beautiful books on compositions and other things. The great thing about this book is in the first part of the book, I hope you can see, fantastic, absolutely fantastic reproductions of old catalog pages. Great identification tool for bears. And then also in the back, she's got wonderful examples and things of people's collections and stuff. A lot of our collection was in this book. This was published in 1984. It's a fantastic book. So if you can get a hold of it, it's called Collector's History of the Teddy Bear by Pat Schoonmaker. Another favorite of mine was written by Pauline Cockrell. It's called the Teddy Bear Encyclopedia. If you can see that. And what's wonderful about this book is it gives you manufacturers, but it also points out distinguishing features, I hope you can see, of the different bears from that manufacturer, which is really, really nice. It's awesome. And it's got several American, English, you name it, she's got it, and it's a wonderful book. It's called The Teddy Bear Encyclopedia by Pauline Cockrell. Again, if I'm going too fast, I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. This is another great book, and it's called Teddy Bears, A Complete Guide to History, Collecting, and Care. And this was written by Dottie Ayers of the Calico Teddy and Sue Pearson of England. And this is a great guide. I love they do close-ups of tags, and they do different distinguishing features. I really, really like this book. It's a great, great reference guide. The next one, I'm sure you are all familiar with Linda Mullins. Linda Mullins had great teddy bear shows in San Diego, California for many years, and she wrote some of the top guides, I feel, in the industry. And these are some of my favorite for identification. It's teddy bears past and present. And she had great examples from her collection in there, but also in the front, she had super identification, old catalog pages, museum pieces. So it's a super way to see what teddy bears were in the catalog pages to identify your own. She also did a second volume, Teddy Bears Past and Present, Volume 2, which has added things inside. So it's a great, they're both great guides. I can't recommend them enough. And then these are wonderful for every Steiff collector. It's called the Steiff Assortment Book, and it was done by Gunther Pfeiffer. And if I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, the first volume is 1892 to 1943. It shows you the early pieces. And what's great about this is it shows you the piece, and then it gives you the different numbers, and it's also a price guide, but it's super, super, super for identification. It gives you the span of years that it was manufactured, the item number, and it's like a wish book. And if that's not enough, they have a volume 2, and it's 1947 to 1999, and it, again, it's in there with the numbers, with the span of years, it's the size, how many sizes there were. They're really wonderful to have, and I think a must-have in any teddy bear collector's collection. Another wonderful book, which I really like, was done by Jorgen and Marianne Cieslik. And it's called the Button in Ear book. So you can see it's got the button. And it is a history of the Steiff company, and it's got examples. And what I really like here, if you can see, it's got old catalog pages, and it's also got different examples, and it tells you how many pieces were produced of each example, which is really, really nice. Gives you a really clue of rarity. So I think that that's important to have. So that's an awesome book. Jorgen and Marianne Cieslik, C-I-E-S-L-I-K, Button in Ear. If you're into miniature teddy bears, which I am, and I know a lot of people are, this is an older book. This was done, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s. It's called Miniature Teddy Bears, A Collector's Guide by Cynthia Powell. And it's great because she really concentrated on the miniature teddy bears from different companies. Beautiful examples and photographs in here, not only of antiques, but artist bears. So there's a wonderful way to look up and see the different manufacturers for these miniatures. And the artist bears, I mean, it's great to see some of them. So many great miniature artist, teddy bear artists, that very exciting. Another downfall of mine is, which you know from this program, is teddy bear on paper. I can't get enough postcards, prints. I just can't, so I have to have it as much as I want. Teddy Bears on Paper by Susan Brown Nicholson. It's a great guide. It shows different postcards, the years, shows the series, and Raphael Tuck. I mean, paper dolls. So it's a great book to have. It's Teddy Bears on Paper by Susan Brown Nicholson. Really fantastic book. And I've got this book. I love this book. I cannot recommend this book enough because it is one of the best sources for teddy bear identification of German teddy bears. It's called the Teddy Bear Encyclopedia, and it's by Jorgen and Marianne Cieslik, the same authors that did the Button in Ear book. And what's great about this is it has every German manufacturer, it has the history of the company, and then it is so fantastic. It has not only examples of the teddy bears, but it has a lot of old catalog pages, pictures of tags. So it's a super, super way. I have pawed through this 2 billion times looking stuff up, and each time I do, I see something else that gives me a clue as to who made something that I might have just acquired or adopted. This book is awesome. It is kind of hard to find, but it's well worth the look. It's Teddy Bear Encyclopedia by Jorgen and Marianne Cieslik. And to finish up this program, I thought I'd just start. Oh, I was going to show you this. teddy bear postcards. Again, I told you this was going to be disjointed. It's an old postcard album, and somebody has collected all of the nursery rhyme teddy bear postcards inside of it. I just love this. I paw through it and just look at them over and over and over again. I really do enjoy my collection. I love playing with it. I think we should all play with our collections because it's too exciting. So here are some of my teddy bear sheet music. Another downfall I have, if you want to call it a downfall, because it is addictive. Because there's a lot of them out there and I try to find them. This is Stingy. I love the illustrations, and my goal is to get these all framed and put behind the wall on the piano. I have a piano that was my childhood piano. Isn't this fun? Candy, you're a dandy. I love it's just the artwork on the cover is just great. Here's the sack waltz with the teddy bears and the clown in the middle. And then Stung, a teddy bear two-step. Look at that bear. Here's Bessie and her little brown bear. I would love it if somebody would record these and do like a little CD so we could hear them all. Teddy bear pieces. This is Teddy Bear Land. I mean, during the turn of the century, teddy bears were all the rage, so everything was made. Look at this, Playmates, a two-step, and look at her. She's clutching her little teddy bear. I just love that. Teddy bears, a march for the little folks. Look at this. And then on the other side, Will You Be My Teddy Bear? Anna Held, who was famous on Ziegfeld Follies. Here we are, March two-step. There's a big bow in her hair. She's clutching probably her stuffed teddy bear. And she needs to get an attitude adjustment. She also has a doll. Spoiled little kid for being so grumpy. And then look at this, the dance of the teddy bears. They're off in the woods. If you go down to the woods today, I'm sure they're there. And then this one, the Teddy Bears March. Again, I'm sorry these are backwards for your view. The teddy bear march in a two-step. So they did a lot of two-steps. But I love the the cover illustrations are really fun. Another thing that I dragged out here that I just noticed is Buddy Tucker visits the house that Jack built. Many people don't know that Buster Brown's illustrator, Outcall, also did Buddy Tucker and his bear. And the book is really fun. And it tells their adventures. And they also came out with, earthquake hold is stuck to the table here. They came out with pottery. Here's a piece, here's the creamer. It's one of the pottery pieces I have. Isn't that fun? It's a great thing to find the books and then the different pieces that go with it. So I want to thank everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this. There's a few bears behind me, and just share a couple here with you. Little White Stife in his overalls. This guy, a little Stife with his white tag. And here's one of my favorites. Oh, look. It's Putsy the cat. I just love him. He's from Stife from the 1930s. And then who can forget Tubby? I love Tubby by Einco. Look at this. And then somewhere, oh, look. And then here, I love the old print, Tubby print. So I know this is going long, so I am going to say goodbye. I want you to be safe. I want you to reach out. This is a great time to call people, to enjoy yourselves, and learn a whole different way of things. And thank you again, Rachel. Thank you so much for this. It's so wonderful to be able to share some of these things in my house with other people. And I hope you all enjoy this impromptu convention done on the fly. So be safe, good bear hunting, and so long until we talk teddy bears again. Bye-bye.